hurt a lot of people by my poor, selfish decision making in 2008. My incarceration is only one fact that everyone knows about. Going to prison for a non-aggravated robbery of accusations, that's a fact. Receiving a life sentence by a jury, that's a fact. Leaving 4 kids behind when I went to prison, fact. Going to prison at 33 years old, grown man with responsibilities, fact. Losing a business behind another business, fact. Going to prison was only one thing that everybody knows about, but don't know the other facts behind me going to prison. Did I say I hurt a lot of people? I did. Not physically, not purposely, but knowingly when I committed the crime that I committed, that everybody that was connected to me would lose. And every single thing that God blessed me with the right way, I lost the wrong way by making a poor decision and a selfish decision. Fact. After doing 8.5 years in prison, I've been free now for 7 years. But none of my freedom came without a price. A part of regaining my freedom, I had to take low-paying jobs like this warehouse behind me just to make ends meet. I also got financial assistance from the state. My family chipped in, friends chipped in. As soon as I touched ground, I was back on child support for my 4 kids that I had to support. At all costs, I had to get back in this thing called society. So freedom came with no price. So when I got freed, I freed everybody that was incarcerated with me. My brothers, my sister, my kids, my friends, my family. But let me stop right here, y'all. Let me bring on somebody right now who can tell you the real story. A woman who prayed me through. A woman who prayed me out. A woman who's still praying to this day. My mom.
Yes, I know the story too well. With their father doing prison time, 2 sons doing prison time, which was very heart-wrenching. But at this time, I'm going to talk about Dominic's story and what he had to face during his prison time. I can't forget the day, which was in the morning, that I got a call that the policeman had picked up my son, Dominic. And later on, I learned that it was robbery. This was very, very heart-wrenching. I already had one son, Derek, in prison. Now you're dealing with another son in prison. Oh Lord, what do I do? Was my thoughts. It was just overwhelming. It was hard. And I had to get myself together and stay strong. Because I was always one that I couldn't cry right then, because if I cried, I would become weak. So I had to stay strong. And I knew I was not fighting against my son, but I knew I was fighting against generational curses upon my sons. And being the woman of God that I am, I knew what I was going to have to do. And that was to pray and to stand and to do spiritual warfare for his deliverance. My son faced the jury, but I also faced the jury. And I faced it alone with the help of God. But when they came back and gave him life, they took life from me. But the Spirit of God immediately reminded me that prior to him being, I guess you can say, locked up in jail, he had told me the night before to anoint his hands, to anoint his feet, and to anoint his head, and to commit his life unto him. And he reminded me his life is in my hand and not into the hands of man. That's what gave me hope and faith to believe for the deliverance of my son. And I told him, if you want your life back, you got to go back to God. As Dominic was doing this time, it was very hard on me and his siblings. I had to become the father of his children, to his children, I should say. We had to move his things around, his apartment around, his business around. We had to take responsibility and get lawyers and work through all this, which wasn't easy, which I understand what many mothers go through. But I knew in faith and prayer that my son was coming home, because God always reminded me that I had anointed him and that life was in his hands. So that was my assurance. That was my hope. That was my prayer. That was my belief. And I walked in it. And I sacrificed for it, that he was coming home. And now he is free. And I would encourage many, never walk alone, but pray. If you don't know how to pray, learn how to pray and watch God turn the story from a negative into a testimony.